And what I found depressing about it, so what you're talking about, how some of these societies collapsed and the wealth was then sort of more evenly, or resources were more evenly distributed, or things
Mm,
became fairer for the
mm.
vast majority of people who've been suffering under these, uh, what do you call it? What's the term?
Like
Somebody who,
oligarchies or
oligarchs, yeah. Now it's very different because the global society that we live in it's almost like we're not individual societies. We're all part of, he refers to it as Goliath. We're all part of the singular
mm,
Goliath. So
mm.
when the collapse comes, it's going to be much more catastrophic. And we're so tied into these global systems.
We
We
are,
rely
yeah.
on them so much for food, medicine, transportation, lighting, heating, and there's so many more of us on the planet than these
Mm,
historical situations he's talking about,
yeah.
that we can't just go and start farming the field down the road if
Yeah, and that's yeah,
if the collapse.
he said in the article, didn't he? Like previous civilizations would fall, but people still had a much closer connection with, the land,
Yeah,
or I mean, that's a bit of an umbrella term, but people were much more self-sufficient because we weren't so reliant on global systems. So even if a civilization fell, people could fall back on their sort of supply chains, which were much more localized than they are now, and survive. Whereas a fall of present day civilization might look very different. Although I don't know. I mean, I don't. It's not that I want it to happen, although part of me maybe does. But I do think we probably are a lot more resilient than we think. And yes, like we would, our day to day life would change immeasurably.
yes, yeah.
Um, but I do think we would forge away. I mean, there would be casualties, yes, of course. Like that's
I mean,
goes without saying. But
it's impossible for us to estimate how many people would
yeah,
die, but
but
it's already happening.
yeah, yes, it is. That's right, because the rich are taking more and more and more from society. But
Mhm.
at the same time, I'm not advocating for it to happen. But we've said so many times here, well, both in private conversations and on the podcast, like our current lifestyle is so unsustainable, so
Mhm.
ridiculously unsustainable that if anyone were to look at it from an outside perspective, they would just, I mean, they would write us off as a lost cause. Like we are the architects of our own demise.
As Kesha said, we are who we are.
We are who we are.